In this video, we talk about the split method in Python. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it. So first thing I'm gonna go ahead and do is set a variable as our string. So I'll do my string equals to, this is my super awesome string. And then I'll go ahead and print my string real quick. So boom, this is my super awesome string. Now, if I want to go ahead and apply the split method to my string, all I got to do is come to the end of my string, hit dot split, and then the parentheses, run it real quick. And just like that, I have split my string into a list. So this is my super awesome string broken down into different items in a list. Now I'll have another video on lists and how to manipulate lists and do all sorts of funky stuff with lists, so be on the lookout for that. But right now we're just talking about actually splitting a string into a list, and then there's things you can do with lists that you'll learn about later on. So how the split method worked is it essentially took every time there was a space in my string, it took that as like a sign to split and create a new item. So we started, this, and then there's a space up here, is, and then a space, my, and you can see how it broke it apart. So the default setting is to split a string at every space that you have. Now you can throw an argument into the split method where it splits where you tell it to. So if you wanted to split at like the commas or something to that effect, you could do that. To do it, you just type in your identifier for splitting your string. So we say we want to split it at the commas, we run it, and we'll notice that there are no splits. It just put my entire string into a list, and it's just one item in that list, which is my entire string. And that's because there are no commas up here in my string. But if I throw a comma in there, you see it went ahead and it split my string where the comma was. So it split, this is my string, and then we got a space here. So it kept the space in here because it split right at the comma. And then we got space, super awesome string. And of course, if I threw a couple commas in there, we'd have multiple items in our list wherever the commas are. So we can set it like that. You could, of course, this is the same thing as leaving it blank, is splitting at the space, right? You can split with whatever you want. You want to split at S's, you could go ahead and split every time there's an S, go ahead and split your string, if that makes sense to do something like that. So that's the first argument, the separator, which basically splits your list wherever you tell it to split it. The second one is how many items you would want in your list. So if we throw a 2 in here, we see that it says this is my super awesome string. So it split it into basically 3 items in a list. And if you watched my string video where we talked about indexes, we know that Python indexes based at 0. So this is that 0 index, 1 and 2. So this means that 2 right here is the second slot. So if we wanted to split it into 2 items, we just do it like that. Or if we wanted to split it into 5 items, we could split it with a 4. So this is the 0 index, 1 index, 2 index, 3 index, 4 index. And you see how it works, right? Basically, it does a split just like you identify it. So we wanted to split it at every space there is. So that's what it did. And then whatever's left over, it puts into its own item. So that's why there's 2 words in this final item of our list. Also, real quick, I want to point out that you can set your split string as a variable itself. So you can be like, my split string equals to my string dot split. And then, of course, this my split string variable is a list. Oops, split string. So now you could go ahead and use your variable that's a list of your string that is split and do all sorts of stuff with that variable. So I just wanted to point that out, that you could basically split your string and store that list as a variable. And so that's pretty much it for this video. Again, I'm gonna have a video on lists and things you can do with lists, so be on the lookout for that, because that's how you're going to manipulate what you just did here. And if you found this video helpful in any way, shape, or form, I appreciate any sorts of likes, comments, subscribes, anything like that. And I hope that you have a great rest of the day.